$2. Perfect. Yeah, who is it? It's an Amazon Prime mouse, man. It was so popular. They made it a Prime. It's a great mouse. Got 2 of them. Anyway. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 586. Atlus versus Progressives. Don't know why that's a thing or how that's a thing. Let me see about this dude. His name is Animal Jason. This video came out 2 years ago in February. Has about 15,000 views. Oh, I just saw the dislike bar. Has 1.6 thousand downvotes and 564 upvotes. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of this. I thought it was going to be an attack on progressivism, but apparently it's not. I don't know. We're going to find out. We don't know how these...
We'll see.
Yeah. I tend to enjoy Atlus games. They do a whole bunch of weird ones as usual. That's why they're cool. And if you haven't heard Persona 5 Royal is coming out on Steam in 2 days. If you like JRPGs and want the ultimate, most stylish, most modern, and you don't like playing on console, you get to have the most up-to-date Persona 5 outside of Strikers, which actually did come out a year ago or two, which is an action. What is the Guardian battles? Those action packed where you fight like an army and they're all like puppets and they blow up like they're rubber. What the hell are they?
Dynasty Warriors?
Is it Dynasty Warriors? There's a name for the genre though. I can't remember the name. Yeah, but that was
things that are made by Koei Tecmo.
I guess, yeah. That's what came out on Steam or for PC, and now they're releasing the actual Persona 5 Royal. So I like Atlus. I've been playing their games for a while, but mostly on PC. So whenever they come on PC, I'm very excited. So they listen to their crowd. They fix things that are broken, and they put a lot of effort into these games. They are not small games. They are very, very detailed. They have lots of voice acting. They have lots of storytelling, lots of artwork. So you have to like that mix of Japanese text or Japanese storytelling with lots of dialogue and text, and then you have this turn-based combat stuff, unless you talk about Strikers. But yeah, no, lots of great games out there from Atlus. So I'm glad they're still around, because I feel like they're going the way of Konami, but hopefully not. All right. So let's check this out. We've got 11 minutes roughly. Okay, here we go.
We also start with a wall of text.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy is, honestly.
I don't know who Kazuma Kaneko is.
Yeah.
I think I've seen this video before, but I'm not sure. It might be somebody else.
From the quote, I would assume it's someone working on Megami Tensei.
Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei.
And I do find the quote a bit weird. So
I get it though.
Another thing that bothered me was the trend of the main character always being portrayed as someone special. A legendary warrior, for example, was the equivalent of saying you can't succeed unless you're from a wealthy family. And I just couldn't stand that. I wasn't born with special genes, and I'm sure genes is already something else than being wealthy. Just couldn't stand that. I wasn't born with special genes, and I'm sure most other players weren't either. No matter who you are, if you are given a chance and have the guts to try your best, you can become a hero. That became the concept of Megami Tensei. That's the end result, the end conclusion of that is nice. I do not know where this developer got that idea from.
Right, we're talking about...
Because I've played tons of Japanese games where you start out as the nobody, or it turns out you're the son of some ancient warrior or something, but were orphaned or whatever, like in Secret of Mana.
Ooh. Or Zelda.
But the thing is, but the thing is in these stories is that, or rather, if we check back with reality, all these special families, let's not just say wealthy, but just special, they started somewhere, and that is usually with the hero that came from nowhere who proved himself, and that established the family.
Well, in the Megami Tensei series, or the Shin Megami Tensei series, I don't know, because the older ones are more reminiscent of the original first 2-3 Persona games, where even in Persona 3 and 4, you are a little special. Like everyone can summon personas, but you have the wild card trait, so you could mix and match them. You could like combine them. You could put one into your slot so you could control 3. And you get access to the Velvet Room. So you're kind of like the god of Persona sort of looked at you and said, okay, you'll be special. So in terms of other things, like the third one, the character just has a weird quirk in his personality where he has like this suicide wish in his brain. And in the fourth one, you're like gorgeous, like you're a really attractive young man. So everyone calls you like the prince of the school. So it's kind of, there's something with that. Even in the fifth game, you're kind of special. But he had a big chip on his shoulder in the fifth game. So I don't know exactly. I know what he's saying, because a lot of hero stories, even a lot of, every isekai story, almost every isekai story has the guy who dies and comes back as a gift. He's got some gift from the goddess or some special skill or some appraisal ability. He could see everything and talk to anyone, or he can cook very well, whatever it is. So there's always something special with the protagonist. We can go back as far as like Metal Gear. Like look at Snake. He's a super soldier amongst super soldiers.
Who's the clone of his dad who was a super soldier.
Who is the greatest super soldier of all time. Yeah. Even in 3, where you played as that super soldier, he's really good at CQC and he can take a beating. That's about it. Everyone else in that game is like super powered or magical or whatever. So
and then there was Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
That's a whole other ball game. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. But yeah, I get where he's coming from in terms of, this is a problem with quest stories, with hero stories. There's something, they come from a noble family and they have to stop the horde of barbarians at the gates. And he's the one to do it. He's all the training and all the resources. No one else does. Fine. Okay.
Hey, maybe you're the special barbarian who needs to storm the gates. What about that?
Yeah, you're the merchant's son. You got to sell you got to make all the weapons and armor to all the townsmen so they can defend the gates or something. I don't know.
No, that's racketeer. That is capitalism ho.
Oh, no. Okay.
I love that game. It's so stupid cute.
Yeah, so I get what he's saying, but every story has something like that, or else it gets very boring.
Yeah.
There has to be something about your hero character that makes you care about them.
Or you can just start with the courage thing, but I would like to know where this chat says it's the character designer for Shin Megami Tensei.
The visual artist?
I don't know.
Or the concept artist. Yeah, it depends.
I don't know. The chat just says character designer.
Yeah.
Where the character designer got this notion from that the heroes always have to be special. Maybe that's a certain era, or maybe within Atlus. I don't know. I don't know enough Atlus games for that.
Yeah, I know,
maybe
but
it's just a bad sample size.
From a literary perspective,
Kaneko's part,
you have to give something special to the audience for us to care, like a chip on their shoulder, on their shoulder. A backstory, a tragic like something that's okay, I get it. This is why he's in this scenario, to get things going. You don't have to be like the son of a god. That's not relevant. But there's something that says, I get why we're starting here and why he's the way he is, and that's good enough. So, and it makes more sense if he is someone in a scenario like the son of a great soldier, that he would follow in his footsteps, or he would know something, he was taught something from a great hero of how to behave in a certain scenario. Because we want scenarios to be exciting and dangerous. And you do that quickly by just saying, I'm the son of a guy who did this for a living. So it's like, okay, cool. No problem. All right, fair enough. Let's go. That's interesting music.
In 1994, Atlus released Shin Megami Tensei If, a spin-off of the original Shin Megami Tensei. If took place in a high school setting, which proved popular. The player could choose between 2 playable characters, a male and female variant of the same protagonist. In 1996, Atlus released Persona, a successor to If using a similar high school setting. The main character of If made a cameo as an NPC. Her name was Tamaki. Atlus chose, in 1996, that the protagonist of their previous successful game would canonically be female. In 1999, Atlus released Persona 2 Innocent Sin, which also featured Tamaki as an NPC. A significant party member in that game was Jun Kurosu, a childhood friend of the protagonist Tatsuya. Jun has rather clear romantic feelings towards Tatsuya, and the player is allowed to choose Jun as a romantic partner toward the end of the game. This affects their in-combat negotiation, making this choice not only a one-off scene, but consistent throughout the remainder of the game. This choice isn't treated as a joke, and your other party members are surprised, but accepting. Jun is a good character. He's got things to atone for and complicated relationships with his friends and family. He's among my favorite Persona characters, and I think that says something. So why am I telling you this? Well, it's to say that the Atlus of old was daring. Atlus made games for outsiders. If you weren't welcome at the cool kids table, Atlus had a seat for you. It wasn't just Jun, it was...
Okay, but Atlus has always been daring. The third game, everyone has a gun called an invoker they shoot their heads off with in order to summon their persona.
Yep.
The fourth game was about being sucked into the TV in a murder plot. The fifth game, you're a thief. You're the theme of rebellion against society. Like they're always pushing the envelope in some way, and it's nothing new. So it's not.
Are you telling me there were JRPGs at the time that made you join the cool kids table?
It's kind of like you become the cool kid in your own little world or your own little clique.
No.
Yeah.
What he's implying is that Atlus made this game for kids that are not on the cool kids table.
I guess, but that's every
Sort
book.
of, which implies that there are other JRPGs or video games in general. But let's stick with JRPGs that would get you to the cool kids table, which I find absolutely mind breaking.
Yeah, there's no story where it starts off like I'm the student council president. I have straight A's. I have a girlfriend. Everything's perfect. Everything keeps going awesome and awesome and awesome. And then the end, I get married and have big family and I'm a multimillionaire. Like no, there's no stories like that. You read books to escape this boredom reality, and you could have amazing characters in there, but they're very, very rarely the cool kid guy. And if they are, there's a fall from grace. They lose everything. They have to go through hardship. It's never, oh, I can totally relate to this rich prick. Comedians can't, like no comedian can do that. You can't just be a rich guy. I mean, outside of being a famous comedian after you've struggled to be a comedian, but you can't make jokes about, oh, my life is so hard because I'm rich. Like it doesn't land.
No, I just identify as a comedian and rich.
Yeah.
That's how you become that, right?
I remember.
So like Amy Schumer then.
I remember comedians trying to do that. It was Jamie
Did
Foxx.
it work for her?
And he could not do it. He could not make rich jokes about his
Just
rich lifestyle.
rewrite reality by claiming that you are a thing and then you are the thing.
Yeah.
And of course, it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that her cousin is a congressman, a very high-ranking one. No family can. No, it's fine.
I don't think I've ever watched
She's-
her routine, so I don't know.
Don't. You'll want to kill yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is actually torturous.
Okay.
all of their characters. Maki was sickly and bedridden, Eikichi was flamboyant and wild. In the original SMT, you met the Chaos Hero as he was being beaten by bullies. Notice that I said...
Okay, so here's... I don't know if you guys know these characters, but the guy in the middle, I believe, is part of the student council. The girl on the left is one of the main characters. You're the main character on the left. The guy on the right is supposed to be black, and they changed his race to white. I think his name is Mark. Yeah, so Atlus has no problems changing things around to make it sell, so it's not a big deal for them. They just don't care. It's like, will this sell?
To sell where?
Anywhere. They don't care.
For which market was he changed?
He was changed to black, I believe. In America.
Oh, too black.
Oh,
Okay.
too
Yeah.
black. Okay.
Unbased.
I'm trying to remember how that went, but maybe the guys in chat can refresh my memory there. I could be totally wrong. It could be the opposite.
Well, at least he's
We
not.
all know, like, people in Chicago, they love playing this Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh yeah, I remember he had an Uzi as a weapon for some reason, or a gun, and
that
an
fits.
axe.
So he has illegal assault weapons, has a stupid woolly hat on,
Yeah.
a white smirk, and monkey ears. Of course, they make him black.
Yeah. Well, the guy in the middle had a sniper rifle, and you fired with the gun. It hit like everyone in the. Like it was like ricocheting around. That's how it was animated. It was so weird. So these games are for fun. They're not to be taken too seriously. And this is all a mental dreamscape you're fighting. It's not real. So.
What? The Sukubi are not real?
Yeah, I know.
No.
So it's just Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors.
You get
pretty much?
sucked into another world. In the fourth game, it's the TV land. In the fifth game, it's the frickin' the hell do they call it? I can't remember. It's like palaces, like mind palaces.
Yeah.
And the third game is like the midnight hour, I think. So everything goes.
Yeah, it was Midnight Hour.
Yeah. It's all weird and creepy and magical.
And they all just wear their school uniforms?
Yes and no. In this case, yes. The other games, no. In the fifth one, for example, the bullets are fake because you can't buy bullets in Japan, but it's the idea of using bullets in the dream world which caused them to be lethal, right? So,
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of funny.
With
So you're
mind
just-
bullets.
But you're essentially just playing a team of suits.
That's telekinesis, Kyle.
Well, couldn't they just make their own bullets if
You-
they have access to all these resources?
You'd think they'd have amazing crafting abilities for swords and their gear because they make lockpicks. Like you actually train in making lockpicks for your dungeon crawls, whatever they go at the end of the month. So you build them. Sometimes Morgana, your magical cat, can help you. And you would think they'd make like grenades and other stuff, but lockpicks are pretty basic, I guess. So you think they have like a bullet press or something, but nope, they can't do that. You make coffee
remember
and curry. That's the one thing you do. So
I remember in the third game they had a cop working with them that you could go talk to sometimes. He couldn't even give them bullets?
your stepdad, your stepuncle was a cop, and his partner was also a cop. In the second game, you wielded real guns. You had pink revolvers. You were a chick with these two pink revolvers, and one of them was actually a cop with you as well. The fourth game had a detective boy. What's her name? Naoto. She had a gun.
Mhm.
So. Yeah, no, they don't skip away from violence in these games, so they just have weird explanations to get them to work.
Chaos hero, because even if he was ultimately your enemy, he was still a downtrodden outcast who worked to become more than that. Atlus made games for, well, the kids who liked video games too much. Atlus was punk, man.
What?
Atlus was out there for the little guy.
Atlus was goth, not punk. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's goth.
It's like future goth and crazy. If you guys see the bestiary, you'll be like, what the hell? Is this like in space, this game? There's all these weird looking aliens in Persona 2 and Persona 2 Innocent Sin. And then you get to like 3 and 4, and it's all a little bit more mundane, a little more chilled out. And then 5, it's all high definition quality
Well,
3D.
three had that sex dungeon level in the
Yep.
freaking midnight hour.
Yep, they had a bunch of weird, crazy
Yeah.
the guy in a toilet, like all these weird creatures.
They had Elvis in the game. What the fuck?
Yeah, they got like not a shit monster, but a demon on a toilet that you have to fight as a mid boss, I think.
Straight up the Great Mighty Pooh. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
They don't hold back on these games, so it's pretty cool.
I want some explanation and context for this claim that Atlus makes games for kids who like video games too much. Can you explain that?
Well, by kids, I'm assuming he means like young people.
In the 90s?
Yeah, but what does for likes video games too much? What does that mean?
Yeah, I know. When you're playing a PlayStation game and it's an RPG, at the time there was like Beyond the Beyond, Suikoden came out, like the first year PSX came about. Wild Arms, I think, came out later. So there's all these like, oh, what's this? And then you got a chance to play Persona. So it was new, it was different. I didn't know what to expect from Japan. And it was a lot different than playing Mario or any of the other Nintendo games. So
Oh yeah.
it was neat.
I still don't understand the claim.
No, don't even try.
And now, in 2020, Atlus is in hot water because of changes being made for the localization of Persona 5 Royal. In case you're unaware, 5 and 5 Royal contain a short scene which a lot of people view as homophobic. I'll link it on screen and in the description in case you haven't seen it, but in short, 2 adult gay men approach your party member Ryuji and aggressively hit on him.
It's about that bullshit.
Yeah, I just mentioned this. So
Man,
this,
because that never happens. That never happens with, you know.
no.
Yeah, number
Gay-
one, that
adult
does
gay
happen.
men.
Those gay types do exist. They're obnoxious, and they are living caricatures. They want to be living caricatures,
Yeah, this is
and they are horrible, and they are often a bit rapey as well. Yes, they do exist.
This is one scene in Tokyo, and they come again in the holiday scene in Hawaii. So they hit on Ryuji again. So it's nothing like it's an ongoing joke. That's all it is.
Yeah, and it's played for laughs in anime usually, and I think God Hand had such characters as well.
That happened to a coworker of mine. The
Oh, no.
stereotypical gay guys were hitting on him and all that. And
Ugh.
the manager was going to tell him to leave. But then one guy in the back just yelled out, I was super drunk. And for some reason, that made them leave. I don't know why.
Wait, the manager told the guy who was hit on by the gays to leave?
No, he was telling the gays to leave
Oh, okay.
and all that because they were hitting on an underage kid.
Oh my god.
No, we have a lot of kids working with this. and all
Also,
that.
there were pedals on top of it.
Yeah, and for one guy in the back was having this conversation with another guy, and he just yelled, and then I was super drunk, and it caused them to leave for some reason. They were weirded out.
The stereotypical gay pedophiles were weirded out.
Yeah, don't know why.
Maybe they thought the guy yelling about alcohol might get violent or something. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
we'll find out in 2 days if they change the scene. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Holy shit.
The scene ends with Ryuji getting dragged away with them, cue laugh track. Details are vague at time of writing, but the localization team is planning to change this scene outside of Japan.
Oh,
So
God.
why are people angry? Well, on one hand, you have those who don't think a localization change is enough. They want Atlus of Japan to recognize the potentially harmful content of this scene and change it in all versions.
It's
not
just
in
a-
foreign.
The potentially harmful scene of reality. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't this coming from the people who say that we need to depict the modern world in media as it is?
I'm getting a phone call. I'll be back.
All right. Yeah, but isn't this effectively just that? Showing reality, the reality we live in,
Yeah, they got
with predatory,
that's-
stereotypical gays who
No,
act
not
like
that reality.
caricatures?
Not that reality.
It's
not
the
that
wrong
one.
reality.
Yes.
they have
Yes,
and
comrade. That is the wrong thing to think.
they have a bunch of scenes of in various forms of dress because she's a model, and one of them is where she's wearing so many clothing because she's embarrassed because she doesn't want to be nude, so it's going to take a lot of time for her to take her clothes off to have the guys do something behind everyone's back. And then they have a full anime scene of her at the beach in a bikini and bouncing around. So
Okay, I'm back.
it's not a big deal. Atlus doesn't really care. It's like, you don't like it, fine, we'll change it. We don't really give a shit. We have so much content that we can't keep track of it all.
Yeah. Oh well, on the notion of the stereotypical predatory gay, when I was in the worst shape of health, where I needed ambulant care, the most side is the social worker company, and they had a care section with like special. I don't know how you translate that. So basically, ambulant nurses, and the chief of that section was even on my case. And when he was here, the guy was openly gay, and he was trying to check me out whether first he could hit into certain how I would react given certain attempted jokes that he made, which were obviously hurtful. Like I was at a point where I couldn't really clean up much anymore. It wasn't horrible, it was just untidy. But my bookshelf always stands out as that thing's proper. And it's a big bookshelf. And the first comment he made was that helping his service, he would help clean up the place, and then we can also throw away all these old books. That is something you do not say for a joke when there is a big bookshelf in the room, and it is the one tidy thing that stands out as such, because that means that is important. And that guy definitely knew that. He wanted to see how I react to that, because that is how predators check whether they are dealing with someone who is potential prey. Someone who is timid and passive is potential prey. Someone who speaks up against that is not, because these people always look for those who stay quiet. Now, while I was in a pretty bad state, I played along as that, just saying that's probably a badly attempted joke, and left it at that. Next time he came around, he was making comments that implied that he was checking out whether he could have anal sex with me.
Good.
And that was when I considered, okay, like he did it between the lines a lot, or rather indirectly. Indirectly is probably the better word. And since I was overloaded in my brain a lot from this whole PTSD crap, it took me a long time to process that and also understand that, yeah, that's actually malicious. That's actually happening. That's actually going on. Because the problem is when you go through shit like that, you get very doubtful about everything that's going on around you and whether there is intent behind it or it's just an innocent misinterpretation. No, that was intentional. And the third time, he deliberately, because I rejected him effectively, I guess he wanted to punish me or whatever that was for, because he deliberately dug into every button that, I don't want to use the word, that basically made the PTSD go bonkers. I had a massive breakdown hanging over the kitchen table while he was standing there, jolly almost, going on with accusations and effectively slander, not letting me slip in a single word, not stopping when I called for it several times to let me explain. And when he finally was done, and I was enough in one piece again to articulate words, sentences, with a puddle of salt water on the table beneath my face, I asked him why he did that, why he didn't let me say anything, why he didn't stop. And he just jovially replied as if nothing bad had happened just now. "Oh, I just wanted to see how you react." And then left. And that's when I barred him from ever coming back again. And the problem with such situations is that you have no witness for that. This guy knew exactly that he could pull this off, and the lack of emotional affect for what he was doing there, knowing that he's dealing with someone with severe PTSD, and pushing into that deeply, and he has no emotional reaction. I believe that was a psychopath, and I believe that he's doing this probably with other clients, and there's probably also people who are not gay who are doing that, but in that case, that guy was gay.
Okay.
And they exist.
Yes, they do.
These horrible monsters exist. And making fun of them is at least something we can do.
Well,
and the people complaining about that,
yeah,
they're probably monsters themselves. At least some.
There's nothing wrong with caricatures, and if you don't like caricatures, it's not a big deal. These are not main characters. These are completely NPCs, and they're an ongoing joke. And if you don't catch that, you have issues. You are screaming into the wind over a non-issue.
Yeah, so sorry if I got carried away a little bit with this. It's still difficult to talk about.
Yeah, this is what we heard years ago, and we're still laughing at this ridiculous accusation to Atlus that they got to change or else blah blah blah. It's like no, they don't have to do a thing. So whether they capitulate, we'll find out.
On the other hand, you have those who think this constitutes censorship. And as your resident enlightened centrist, I feel I should weigh in and present the situation in a way that I think anyone can agree with.
Oh my god. Because I'm a centrist, I will give you my response. Like, thanks, that's great.
I don't trust them neutrals. Okay. If somebody in the left wing, you know what they're doing. Someone in the right wing, you know what they're doing. But the neutrals, you don't know what they're doing.
We're gonna say some shit. Here we go.
I do believe that the scene is homophobic.
So you're not a centrist. Okay, thanks. Oh my god.
See? Don't trust the neutrals.
It's homophobic because I believe it is. How? Tell me how a comedy scene involving anything is somehow homophobic.
It's homophobic because it tells people about what the gays are doing.
Yeah. Here's a bunch of horny men who like men. What's going to happen? Oh, it's clearly homophobia. Like, what?
Being fearful of rapey people is not a phobia. That's not an irrational fear. That is a very rational fear.
It's like being afraid of the deep ocean.
Would you call rapey men who are predators towards women? Would you, if we caricaturize that, would you also call that heterophobic?
No, because heterosexuals can't be oppressed.
Ugh.
All right.
Really causes real-world harm, but because of the wider context of Persona and Atlus. First, Persona 5 features no non-straight or non-cisgendered characters, which I don't think is a crime in itself.
Yes.
No writer is obligated
What the fuck? I love this game series now.
So he's using the vocabulary of the left. Gee, you're completely a centrist. This is fantastic.
This is the thing that the left, the more extreme the leftist is, the more he seems to believe that he's in the center, and that is how the Overton window moves out of the political compass.
I'm not left leaning. I just use every word they use to explain my left leaning viewpoint. Okay.
I'm not left leaning. I just believe literally all the things they say and do.
Oh, having no non-cis characters, so no trans characters. Fucking hell. No nonsense. Double negatives, you fucking asshole. No trans characters is a crime in itself. You are a political fetishist. And bloody hell, there's something really funny, because after I've went through black rednecks, white liberals recently, Thomas Sowell used that terminology about calling these ideologues ideological fetishists or something similar. He used the word fetishist in this context. In 2005, I feel venerated. Vindicated? One of these words.
Yeah, if Thomas Sowell says something, it's like, oh, geez, I was thinking of that line along those lines just the same day he was, only 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, or 50 years ago.
Yeah, everybody should read Thomas Sowell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or listen to his audiobooks.
Yes.
Include representation by default, as far as I'm concerned. But here, when the only characters in the game that are transparently anything other than straight also happen to be aggressive predators, it means the only gay representation that Persona 5 is willing to present is outwardly negative. Were Jun
what we
Kurosu
mainly
or
see
someone
in the outside world of gay people? The horrible, obnoxious, attention-seeking predators.
Wait a second.
You don't see the normal people. Just like you don't see the normal, nice, dreaded white people.
There's the cross-dressing bar guy. What's his name? Lala. I'm guessing he likes guys. Not necessarily, but if you're cross-dressing and you own a bar for that clientele, just maybe. Seems like a cool dude. So no, there are other depictions of gay or diverging forms of sexuality in Persona 5.
Similar in the game, this scene would probably slip by easier, but it's a matter of unevenness.
In the chat says, his Twitter says otherwise to the topic of whether he's a centrist. Do tell us what his Twitter says.
Oh, please. Let's go
Second,
to Twitter.
the modern Persona games have a bit of unfortunate history with the LGBT community.
No, they don't.
Persona 3 had a
We are
pretty
not a
egregious
community
chicks
asshole.
with dicks joke during the beach sequence, and Persona 4 had Yosuke, who frequently...
Dude, if you can't laugh about your own fucking condition, you are not mature enough to deal with it.
So this scene is where everyone's daring the other guy to go hit on ladies, and all the other guys strike out except for you because you end up not hitting, but you go to Aigis. This is the first time you meet Aigis, which is the robot, who's not technically female. She just looks like the upper part of her body is, and she is designed to protect you. And so her entire reason for existence is to protect the main character. And they see, what? How did you get this chick? And he's like, I don't know. I just talked to her. Whereas all these other ladies are either not very nice or not actual ladies.
Fear the machine.
no homo'd the loving hell out of Kanji. Kanji, as well as Naoto, are similar sore spots, being that many people feel their arcs heavily implied they were gay and transgender respectively.
But they're not.
Those implications...
That's because those are fetishistic idiots who want to project their own fantasies onto everything and do not take the story for what it is. And do not, by the way, this is the important part, do not accept that people go through phases like this for whatever reason. Naoto's reason is a completely different thing that has absolutely nothing to do with trans in the first place.
The imagery with that is the shadow version of herself in the shadow world. So it's this twisted, dark version of getting an operation and all this jazz.
Yeah, because she feels the need to, in order to do her dream job.
Yeah,
it's about her job, her occupation, what she wants to do. It has nothing to do with being trans at all.
And with all the shadow selves, all the main characters embrace them as, yes, this is a part of who I am, but this is not what I want to do. This is like, all the characters do that. They all have this dark, twisted version of themselves. Rise is the most obvious. She's like, I'm going to take my clothes off. Oh my God. Like, she doesn't do that.
This is how you know that the left, the progressives, the socialists, will never be satisfied with whatever you hand them, because if they could ever be satisfied, they would take Naoto's story as simply a defiance of gender roles or the struggle against the assumption of what gender roles are expected in a society, and would be happy with that. But they aren't, because they always want one more thing, and that is the trans thing, because they fetishize that completely. It needs to be everywhere, it needs to be everything.
Yeah, they need
and it
to
needs
protect.
it needs to be things that it in reality isn't.
Yeah, they have to protect the minority, whatever it is. Oh, there's a new minority, we have to add that to the list of things to, I don't know, put on a pedestal and protect.
Yeah, it's not just that, it goes further than that. But because in the end, they will throw the claimed minority under the bus because it didn't bring them the revolution. Like that's another thing that we see happening in history, where they throw the workers under the bus, the women, the blacks, the whatever immigrants, the gays.
Doing it to the Mexicans right now.
Yeah, they're throwing them under the bus now because they didn't bring them the revolution.
They want that communist regime to come into power for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's the whole goal, and that's why everything they say is a lie. It's all lies to get votes, all lies to get support.
This could be the whole excuse for why the border is open in America, because they need immigrants to vote for them.
That is the point.
I don't know.
That is the point why it is that in Europe. Because they turn those into future voters, or they hope to. With the actual Mexicans, that doesn't work because they finally realize that, oh wait, the Mexicans are Catholic and conservative, and when they come here, they want to, whether they come here legally or illegally, they want the border shut behind them because they know that resources are limited. So if more illegals come, then they can get less of the cake. So because they're actually not dumb. The Mexicans are actually not dumb. So when they come in, thanks to the Democrats, they will not vote the Democrats.
They also hate being called Latinx.
Oh God, yes.
Yes, we do.
Now they're calling us latrines.
Oh my God.
It's Latines, but it's like you're just missing the R and it spells latrine.
Yeah, it's what it sounds like.
I can attest to that. We fucking hate that word.
All right, I forgot you're one of them.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
I heard that tone.
It just that was the joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't want to be one of me either.
let's hear.
Imagine living in Germany right now.
Oh dear, let's not go there. Let's get back to this guy burying himself even
he
deeper.
doesn't want to go here.
Anyway, I do, but that's different reasons.
Were ultimately contradicted. Whether their arcs would have been stronger had they been LGBT is an argument I won't get into,
No.
but the point is that it's contentious. Persona
it's not.
4 also has cut
No, it's not.
dialogue
It's
from
only-
that
it
no
wouldn't be
homo
stronger.
champ Yosuke,
It's-
which heavily implies that he was planned as a potential gay romance
Who
option,
cares?
which would actually make a lot of sense given his character.
Doesn't
in my
matter.
opinion. And third is Persona 5's own recurrent themes. Among those themes are systemic abuse, sexual abuse, othering,
No, that's like one part of the first chapter. It's the theme. The overarching theme is rebellion. You're going against society, and you're fixing the things that are corrupt.
What's othering?
Excluding people from your group based on superficial shit.
So the pride
thing that
community?
the left is doing all the time.
When they deal with the first level or the first boss, I can't remember the guy's name, the gym teacher, that sort of resolves Ann's character, and the sexual jokes pop in and out about her sexuality, and she's okay with it. You see her in Hawaii on the trip. She's hugging Ryoji, and she's got her bikini on. She doesn't care that her bits are touching him. He doesn't care. They're friends. She's over it. She's grown up. She's sensitive and unsure of herself because of her future, and she's getting into modeling. But once that's dealt with, it's done, as far as I recall. So there's maybe one scene where they're in kimonos and it's wet, and they're like looking at the guys, and the guys are like, "We are not looking at your wet kimonos. We are looking straight ahead, and we're not even attempting," because they know that the girls are giving them dirty looks. So this is all for jokes. It's all for fun. She's a big girl. She got over it. Her problem was that guy. And that was the problem with the school. It wasn't just her. It was her best friend who got abused to the point of suicide. So there's all kinds of dark and serious themes, and then they're resolved. And they get on with life.
Mm-hmm. And when he said systemic abuse, that's another one of those beloved buzzwords of the socialists. And how this is something they haven't explained to me yet, ever. They complain about these horrible things he just listed, it being in the video game. They always complain that there's these horrible things in the games. Oh my god, we need trigger warnings for all of them, and they shouldn't even be in the game. How do you tell a story of overcoming these things when never showing them? That's the thing the socialists never managed to explain to me. How do you show that you overcome these things when you never struggle against them and with them? That's why they only bring us always these Mary Sue stories where, the character has problems or had problems, but they're also overcome already. They're out of the window. It's just claimed. It's always tell, not show. When good storytelling is show, don't tell.
Okay, let's keep going.
victim complexes, power, and so on. I don't think I'm rattling any cages by saying that Persona 5, for the most part, takes sexual abuse very seriously, particularly the sexual abuse of powerless people. The entire first story arc of the game revolves around the villain Kamoshida, who is sexually abusing underage girls. Persona 5 is a game which prides itself on being about the little guys, the underclass who are fighting back against unjust systems. The protagonist has a criminal record for trying to prevent a woman from being assaulted by a politician. Anna is a victim of the aforementioned sexual abuse. Ryuji is a victim of physical abuse. Yosuke is exploited by his adoptive father.
The fuck was that?
Makoto is pushed around by every authority figure.
Let's look.
Oh, you really want to? Okay.
Nah, have to.
Ryuji is a victim of physical abuse.
Yusuke, lol, all these characters have the same fucking name.
What?
Shut up. Names are common in these names are common in Japan. Shut up.
Is that racism against the Japanese?
I don't know. The Japanese have some pretty beautiful names, like the color green and summer and snow. So no, they're pretty poetic.
There's plenty of names that are common. The one that pops to my head is that there's Kenji Yamamoto, who made music for Metroid, and then Kenji Yamamoto, who made music for Dragon Ball games. Big whoop.
Yeah, every culture has the common names.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And in our languages, we just often overlook or have forgotten the meanings because we don't look at the names right, or they're just from the old version of our languages. For example, we have names that refer to bears, male and female, and where you hear the bear out of the name. But there's also the name Uwe, which is also referring to the bear, but that's it's like super ancient German. And then you have names like Wolfgang, which is some adaptation you probably heard in English at some point, which basically means the one who walks like a wolf. Sounds very much like
purveyor of soup.
Yeah, like
werewolves.
But like Native American names.
Right.
The old German names are pretty much the same, and so do the Japanese names.
Yeah, it's your job or your vocation or the thing that people rely on from you, or they look to you as like, oh, you're the guy who makes horseshoes. It's like, okay.
Yeah, or simple names like Heather. That's the name. That's a flower.
Yeah. Beautiful names. Anyway, let's go.
Yosuke is exploited by his adoptive father. Makoto is pushed around by every authority figure in her life, including her older sister. Futaba suffers from severe trauma and mental disorders, and Haru is forced into an arranged marriage with an abusive fiancé. But Persona 5 undermines its themes of underclass rebellion in many ways, and this is where we circle back to representation. While
Wait a minute.
Only a communist would talk about themes of underclass rebellion.
But how is it undermined?
This guy is a centrist? How
are the characters... Okay, maybe he's talking about other characters, but the main characters have their own stories, and then they get resolved. How are they undermined later? I don't understand.
How is it an underclass if she's in an arranged marriage? Usually
she's
that's
rich.
like an upper class thing.
Yeah, she's totally in the upper class, yeah.
She's the man. He's calling her the upper class.
Yeah, and then we
underclass.
We are introduced to her as she is already in her costume outside of the Phantom Thieves. She's her own unit. She's doing her own thing. And Mona is helping her out. You're like, what the hell is Mona? What are you doing? And it's, it's this weird, funny scene where she says, okay, well, I guess I'll join you. So all these characters have their own motivations. They have their own problems. Those problems get resolved in some way. And the next plot point comes. So I don't understand where he's saying they're undermined, but we have to see an exact example for him to explain, because I can't wrap my brain around it.
And I very much hope someone will remind him that in his communist utopia, it is that this Cryptos communist, that in his communist utopia, that the underclass is not allowed to rebel against the ruling class, because you always have a much bigger class divide in communism than outside. But hey, that he won't admit that, because he's a centrist,
Oh yeah, of course, he's definitely a centrist.
Because he identifies as a centrist, so he is a centrist. We can't question his self-diagnosis.
Maybe it would be
centrophobic to do so.
Maybe he got his words wrong and meant to say he's a partisan.
Oh, that's even more helpful.
Paisano, what?
He's Parmigiano Reggiano, that's what he is.
He was a Parmesan.
Yeah. In World War II, the communists called themselves partisans in Italy.
Oh, really? Swell.
Yeah.
Is
All
that
right.
also the name of a spear?
All right. Well, I want to hear what he has to say, so let's keep going.
All of the protagonists have certainly suffered. The reality is, many of them are also better off than most people who suffer those same abuses. An is
Okay, but that's because they've resolved.
Some people are suffering worse, therefore your suffering is not.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Some people suffer that at the hands of gay people.
The story resolves their issues, therefore other people are suffering because they didn't resolve their own issues. It's like, yes, that's nothing to do with changing the theme of the story. What are you talking about? Undermining who exactly?
Yes, everyone in the woke cult suffers the worst of all. Therefore, no one else matters.
All right. Well, let's hear the example of An. He's about to talk about her.
a fashion model. Ryuji is a former track star. Makoto is a star student. Yusuke is a brilliant artist. And Haru is a literal billionaire heiress.
What's your point?
Billionaire.
That has nothing to do with their conflicts or their issues. What was the theme that got turned around in his head that it undermines? Like, what do you?
He is a communist. He can only see people in superficial ways. He cannot understand that the struggles, the problems, the psychological issues they go through exist regardless of their station in life.
Yeah, but he even listed their individual plights. And it's like,
No, Smud, you can drown those things with money. Therefore, they don't matter.
Yeah, if they're rich
with
people,
money.
then it doesn't matter that they have like strong, severe trauma.
Yeah, but
it only matters if you are a part of the underclass.
Yeah, all the characters.
Yeah, like
in the
rich
story.
people extending their trauma out to everyone else, their undiagnosed trauma out to everyone else, that has no lasting repercussions in the world at all.
Well,
Yeah, your intersectionality points of being super rich negate your being raped.
well, the
You
the
basically
characters
deserve it because you are rich.
outside of Haru, everyone's sort of struggling for cash. They're just kids. Like, you have to work to get money. That's one of the roles you get as jobs, or what you have to do is you have to get a job to make money in the game.
Hell, the main character gets arrested.
Yeah, Yusuke, he's blowing his money on stupid shit because it's artistically like inspiring, and he just has no money to eat. I don't know about Ryuji. I don't think he has much money either. But what is he on about? Like, what? I don't get it. Some are rich. No, one is rich, and she just wants to open it. Her entire ambition is to open a coffee shop. She doesn't want all that money.
Reminds me of my
Doesn't she do-
ex.
Doesn't she do it by the end anyway?
I guess I don't remember how the endings work, but
Yeah.
it's like, dude, this is not about money or power. It has nothing to do with that.
And all of them, other than An, who has a partial foreign background, are members of the racial majority of their infamous...
What the hell?
Communist.
Okay, so if
Racist.
if you're English and you move to America, you have a partial foreign background. You're foreign, which makes you a minority. What?
On is mixed. Like, whoa, okay.
The commie is complaining that the most homogeneous nation in the world is homogeneous.
Like they also have the least crime. We'll ignore that, I guess.
Let's just let him go and bury himself somewhere. This is too stupid.
He's a
Muslim
centrist.
xenophobic country. None of this is to say that their suffering isn't legitimate or
Did he just call Japan
You just did, though.
let me just rewind that.
racial majority of their infamously xenophobic country.
Japan is xenophobic? Are you joking?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps the commies out.
Yes.
Guys, if you ever
They stabbed their commies. We should take cues from the Japanese.
if you ever go to Japan, they are the
Sadly,
nicest.
they're falling for the ESG shit.
Most
but,
polite.
Let's hope they'll wake up from that
They
quickly.
will have open arms wherever you go, whether it's a corner store or I don't know the Suntory distillery. They will love you. They go, oh my God, we have tourism. Let's come on in. Here's some free this or that. Try or that. Here's a coupon. They're gonna love
Was
you.
that your lived experience?
Well, not me, but my people I know. My brother, he's going there. He's going there this week with his family, actually, to Japan.
Oh,
So
I'm jealous.
yeah, no, he goes there
Take
every
me
year.
with you. I hate this place.
Okay. Well, every time he goes, he gets all this free stuff. They give him like all these
Every time.
like candies, drinks. Of course, he goes to see the distilleries. Even the hotels he stays in, they give him like free stuff to remember where they came from. So
but doesn't every hotel give you free soap?
If you take it without telling them, then yes.
Okay.
It's kind of like a thing in Japan. They're always giving you samples, like a single Kit Kat is like a good luck charm, but it's also like, hey, try our Kit Kat.
Kit Kats are good.
Yeah.
Kit Kats are horrible.
And there are like hundreds of
flavors.
flavors.
Japanese Kit Kats are fucking amazing.
Yes.
That may be. I had some wasabi Kit Kats that actually tasted like something.
I know.
I had like a peach one and a
I had
caramel
I think it was like
one.
a sake Kit Kat once. It tasted like sake, but it was completely unalcoholic.
Okay.
I loved it.
Oh god.
Interesting. We mainly only get the standard things here, and they taste like ass. I think you need to be a child in order to like them.
Well,
we got some lime Kit Kats over here. They're actually pretty good.
yeah, no, they do vegetable, they do taro, they do all. Even the McDonald's has different flavors of shakes, like their vegetable shakes. So it's really cool there. And again, they're very accepting of different cultures, even South Korea and their alcohols and their foods.
Oh yeah,
it's huge smorgasbord of stuff and culture.
Yeah, just watch the old episodes of Takeshi's Castle, where they have like foreigner episodes.
Yeah,
and they have all these people killing themselves over getting to Takeshi. It's great.
You mispronounced it. You meant Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
Yeah, so Japan is like xenophobic or something, I guess.
I also got a gift from Japan recently. Somebody ordered something for me, a special edition of a game, and which I'm super happy and thankful about. And the thing had from the seller, because it's not sold outside Japan. The seller had put in like a little card where he sits in a kimono for his family's shrine, smiling, and it's like two little origami cranes inside. It's like, what the fuck? It's awesome.
Yeah. I love getting mail from Japan.
Yeah.
I order Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards from over there, and they always give you like free cards and all that. Once he just gave me a pack of cards, and it happened that the ultra rare was my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, no, this is...
Japan is not xenophobic. They just don't want their culture destroyed, which is what you commies want to do. Yeah. Oh, wait, you're a centrist.
So the thing is we're trying to get from is Japan is very accommodating to other people, more so than any other, even Italians. They're number one in terms of accommodations. So to say they're xenophobic is, I don't even know where that's coming from, but when you go there,
it's
they
because
don't care.
the commies want to see different cultures in Japan.
Why?
They wanted the Japanese culture to recede even more.
But I want to see Japanese culture when I go to Japan.
Yes,
and when I consume Japanese media.
Yeah. My brother, he showed me his tour, and he's going through a village which is designed the way villages were like 400 years ago in Japan, and there's like 50 people who live there. So it's like, oh, that, like when you think of Japan, you think of ancient Japan because the architecture. So they have villages like that you can go and walk through.
Wait a minute.
So we need to make one of those here in America.
Oh yeah,
we have those. Those are called. Those are the old West towns.
No, like actually like living in there, not some fucking tourist trap.
Oh, okay.
It's the same. We have Black Creek Pioneer Village here in Toronto, which is like the pioneers who started the village, and they just kept that part. And they all they churn their own butter and this and that. So they live like Mormons basically. So
and by the way, there is a Japanese enclave in the German city of Chemnitz that is fairly big, several thousand people, and you never hear of them. You don't meet them if you don't go to where they live, because they're basically all overseas workers and their families. And it's a quarter that is completely Japanese. It's Japantown, basically. And the police never goes there. But not like the US urban areas, where they don't go because there's so much crime. The police just never goes there because there's no crime. the Japanese are nice people. They're well behaved.
Okay.
We don't hear from them because they don't do any bullshit.
So I think we could all have our own opinion that Japan's a pretty cool country, and they're very nice to the foreigners. So
Yeah, the commie is a prejudiced liar.
Yep.
He's a racist.
Okay,
He's
well,
racist against the Japanese.
We need to be the America that Japan thinks we are. That's all it comes down to.
We have to dress up like the man with no name. Go into
Absolutely.
that Japanese town and just call ourselves Yojimbo. They'll get the joke.
Wah, wah, wah.
okay, let's get going.
Just get that old New England culture started back up.
All right, let's go.
That works.
None of
well.
this is to say that their suffering isn't legitimate or important, but they are not people of low station in life. Being forced into marriage may be terrible for Haru, but it's far more terrible for the women of poor countries who don't happen to be inheriting billions of
Oh
dollars.
fuck!
What
See,
about-
he's
What?
relativizing.
What?
He is relativizing atrocity.
What about the gays in South Africa? It's like, yeah, that's sad, dude. That's really bad. You know.
What about the gays in Qatar, Saudi Arabia?
What about the
Oh,
poor
we don't
people in
talk
China?
about them. That's bad for the agenda. That
What?
Muslims are an oppressed minority.
Yeah, what about the Inuit? What about these? It's like, dude, what? How many whataboutisms are you gonna have here? Because
But the thing is, if this is the door he opens and he wants to go about relativizing oppression and atrocities, but through his intersectional bullshit game, then the black slaves in the United States really didn't have it that bad because they basically had it the best of all the African slaves in the world.
I mean,
So
if
he
it's
can stop
between-
complaining
if it's
about
between being a slave and being, castrated, and then being a slave, I'll take the other one.
Your chances to survive the voyage across the Atlantic to the United States was much higher than being walked across the Sahara into Muslim lands, because over 90% of slaves died on the way.
You fucking there's sand in everywhere, right? You're dehydrated as shit. Your throat's
There are
dry, your
oases-
mouth's
Say
dry.
about sand.
There
And
are
then-
entire stretches of slave roads where you have thousands upon thousands of skeletons scattered along the oases. Because they were all starving. Thirsting. You thirst before you starve.
I could use a skeleton.
They don't talk about that. These assholes don't talk about it. They only go on about, the slavery in the United States was so bad. Dude, at least you kept your balls.
Well, I mean, that's because we need to take a page from the Arabs book and not apologize for the things that we used to do.
Yeah, for what?
That's how you avoid all that shit.
Yeah, it's
You
it's
can.
in the past. Get over it.
Furthermore, you should take pride in actually getting rid of slavery because nobody else did.
So yeah, talk about the evil white people, and it was the white people that got rid of the slavery.
Worldwide. And it was through the colonialism, because that allowed the projection of power to rid those countries that had the colonies of the slavery. Badumts.
all right,
How about that?
let's keep going.
And let's not forget, for a game which is very insistent that adults shouldn't be chasing underage high school students, there sure are a lot of women the game allows your underage character to start relationships with, including a teacher.
How many of these characters are adults?
It's not the same.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a real life problem, by the way.
Yeah.
So what?
It's like they're telling a story about life.
Yeah. And again, we get back to the gays chasing underage boys.
I guess, but you could say
That's the
these
real
are
thing.
all elements of rebellion. Like the character on the left, she was sort of looked down upon by this corrupt doctor of a hospital. The teacher in the center, she was not getting enough money or something. She has to have side jobs, so she wasn't living up to her life expectancy. The girl on the right is a street fortune teller, I believe, and she's got
So
weird.
she's a feminist?
No,
Riff raff, street
Crazy esoteric cat lady.
like they're
I
all
don't-
very unique, outside of the norm kind of people. So
Yeah, but this is he has a problem with it when it's in this constellation, but when it's adult men going for underage boys, he sees it as problematic stereotypes.
Right, and this all works within the social link system, or what was called social link in the Persona 4, I believe. So you're helping them out with their problems, you're learning about their backstories, you're figuring out why they are the way they are, and then with that comes optional romantic dialogue trees. That's about it. There's no like depictions of this or that. So that's what they have always done in Persona. It's implied. Everything's implied. The most adorable to me is Persona 4, just because I like Naoto so much. And the way that they have dialogue, where she has a little watch. She gives you a matching watch, and it can tell you the distance between the watches, but it's a very low-powered watch, so it's only like a few meters powerful. So they just show the indicator in the dialogue that the distance is getting shorter and shorter. And that's it. It's all just one big black screen. So they do that in a respectable way and in a believable way, outside of, oh, this is horrible, a teacher hitting on a student. It's like, no, it's kind of the main character hires a maid service, and she comes in. And it's one of those cutesy, like she dressed up as a French maid, and she's sort of acting like she's the owner is the master, and she acts like that. And just kind of, oh my God, I can get fired if you tell anyone. So she plays her role, and it's kind of funny. So there's always a humoristic element to these stories. Even with we call her Legs, because she's always leaning back in her chair, and the animation in the GUI is her moving her legs and showing her the inventory you could buy from her, because she makes all the mana regeneration items. So
nanomachine, son.
Yeah, it's very stylistic. It's very tasteful. There's nothing ugly about it. There's nothing like, oh, this is bad. There's nothing like that. Anyway.
Same position of authority that Kamoshida was in. Crazy how that works, huh? All of this combined is why...
Yeah, except she wasn't abusing anyone, you weirdo.
Scenes like the one being changed for Royal come off so poorly, because underneath its veneer of progressivism, Persona 5 is not a game made for the underclass. Persona 5...
What the fuck was that line?
Progressivism.
The progressivism, which means socialism, is what he's projecting onto the game. That's not there.
It's like there's diversity in the story.
And what does he mean with game for the underclass? What the fuck is he on about?
Guys, Persona 5 is a very specific style of JRPG, and a lot of people liked it because it was so stylistic and had high production value that other people who've never played Persona before go, wow, I'd love to check that out, because all the HUD was gorgeous, the music was amazing, the animation when you're jumping between hiding spots in the level, it looked really good. The same reason why people bought Final Fantasy VII. Full video, cutscenes, really beautiful looking fight scenes, but not their style of game. So to say it's for a certain class of people is like, not really. You have to like that style of game.
He's implying this is how his brainwashed, broken brain works. That the underclass can only enjoy games that has underclass people like them in them.
The $70 JRPG game that is...
It's not about the price of the game.
Well,
he does, I don't think he understands prices.
Money? What's that?
Yeah, I mean, he has shown that he's a communist, so he doesn't understand what money is and how it works and what value is, most likely. But this is where this key feature of narcissism comes in, that this whole communism seems to either induce in people or fester, and that is that you can only relate to something and enjoy something if it completely reflects you, who you are or who you believe you are, and that you are incapable of relating to someone who is different from you. Which tells us that these activists, these socialist activists, are the ones who are, due to their lack of empathy, that's what this describes, are the ones incapable of relating to people who are not like them, which makes them inevitably the racists and phobes of whatever else. This is it's like a giant big joke, and we're just not laughing.
Yeah, these characters are all rebelling against some aspect of society that they're happy to be the Phantom Thieves. They're happy to get in behind the subconscious of these villains and steal their evil thoughts so that they can absolve themselves. Like you're literally reprogramming another evil person of society and making them go, oh my God, I'm a horrible person. I'm so sorry. They actually have to do a 180 and they fix their ways. They give themselves up. They tell that they reveal what they've been doing. That's the beautiful thing about this story, is that you're doing this really unique, magical thing, and you're actually affecting change with people within a group, like a school system or the police or what have you, which is cool.
And what this
is crazy.
What he doesn't understand is that because he lacks empathy, he doesn't understand that empathetic people can relate to others due to their experiences, regardless of their economic class in life.
Yes, yeah.
He believes that you also need to share the same economic class in order to relate to someone, understand someone, which is utterly insane. And this is how you see it. It's this basically proven that someone who does not have empathy cannot understand empathy.
Yeah, I remember listening to Joe Rogan, I think a few days ago, and he had an old comedy. He was saying, when I was working at News Radio as an actor and whatever, I owned an apartment. I had, my kitchen, I had my couch, and I had a pool table. Like that was it. Once he started making millions and millions of bucks, it didn't bother him. He didn't think of it that way. Like, oh, I have all this stuff now. It's like, no, I just have my kitchen. That was it for me. My car, maybe, other than that. And then he got married and all that stuff. But it was just like he doesn't care outside of the basics.
Yeah, he stayed on the ground because he's actually a mature personality.
Yeah,
he has a mature mind. He understands like this all this.
You need that as a comedian.
Glam crap is irrelevant.
Yeah, once you're a comedian, you have to speak. Not truth to power necessarily, but you're speaking honesty. It's not about materialism. You're not like hiding behind your mansion and your gated community. You are one of the people, and you know the problems they go through. And you can't, as I said before, you can't make jokes about being a rich guy. It doesn't work. It's not a plight of the masses. You're not going to laugh at someone else's rich problems. It doesn't make sense. So. Anyway, the characters in this story are all high school students trying to figure themselves out. I don't know where he's getting this problem of not being represented properly, but okay, maybe he did not connect with them. I don't know.
How can you connect if you have no empathy?
All right.
Is a game masquerading as fighting for the little guy from a position of inherited wealth, hand-me-down power, and inborn talent.
Hand-me-down power from whom? Outside
and inborn talent is irrelevant, boy.
Yeah, outside of
it is irrelevant if you do not capitalize on it, if you do not build on it, if you do not hone it, because then someone without that talent who applies himself and trains that skill every day will surpass you in no time.
Yeah, so in order to do well in the game, you have to train in all your stats, and that's you have to work out, you have to eat, you have to build lock-picking toolkits, you have to do pull-ups, like all kinds of exercise, all kinds of academics. You have to make good relationships, and you're always getting ready for the next dungeon. So no one is like, oh, I'm Haru, I have money. It's like, no, she's starting off by herself. And you realize that, and Mona's kind of playing both sides, trying to get her on board. And she's like, "Oh, I have no idea what I'm doing." So there's no like privileged, awesome level 99 character that comes out of the shadows and saying, "Okay, here we go. I've been here before." It's like, nope, they're all kids.
And he's also demonstrating here his immature mind or worldview. And I believe that this ideology, the socialism, keeps you that way. It keeps your mind immature because it tells you this nonsense of be jealous of people with talent. don't work and do not work yourself up. Do not strive to become better. Just be jealous of those with talent and those who get stuff handed to them, so that you can demand for equal measure, for equity, to have stuff handed to you as well.
Well, the assumption
because
is
these people think that everything is just a handout.
maybe, I don't know. The assumption for like a postmodern view of media in this case would be, where's the power dynamic? Who's in control? And you would go, okay, I guess it's society, but then you're rebelling against society in the game.
Now, who's controlling society? That's
We live in
everyone.
a society. Bottom
Every
sexist.
individual.
Yeah. Unless you argue Haru is in control, I'm like, no, she's just the heiress of billions of bucks, but she's never wielding it. She's never used. The only time she uses it is to buy tickets for everyone to an amusement park. I think that's about it.
Yay! And ice cream.
So she's distributing the wealth as she
I
should.
guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's about
Damn
it.
it.
Anyway.
The Phantom Thieves are well-off people who are gifted phenomenal magic power and frequently abuse or misuse it, only being good by virtue of
According
being
to
the
whom,
lesser
sir?
Okay. The Phantom Thieves exist because the society is corrupt and they have to fix it. You could argue. Yeah, you could argue the people in power are corrupt and are privileged or whatever, but anyone can go in there and magically change people's thoughts. That's a pretty cool story. That's a pretty interesting idea within the realm of Persona, because Persona gets really creepy in the third game and the fourth. It gets kind of like suicidal, weird. Fourth game is a bit happy, and the fifth game is kind of a mix of both. It's kind of like rebellion / friendship / love a little bit of friendliness with the love part going.
Negotiate with the toilets, Mud.
You can do that. You could dance with the toilets, in fact.
You can fight death.
It's great. The first game was
that's
crazy.
not very uncommon for video games.
Yeah, you could dance. You could stare. You have a staring contest with the toilets. You could do. You could brag to the toilet. I don't know what you would brag about. But it's a weird game. The first one.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
All right.
evil compared to the Demiurge. The protagonists of previous Persona games were often poor, orphaned, or traumatized, and they didn't have advantages to make up for that.
So were the characters.
Okay, well maybe this time we're exploring how different people would react in a similar situation.
Yeah, but
even think about that a little bit.
But in all the games, you're always without your family. You're always a guy in a new school, and you're either living with your uncle, or living in a dorm, or living with your uncle. And for the fifth game, you are pretty much screwed. You have to move out because you were accused of assault or whatever.
The socialist won't be happy if you're not a rejected test tube experiment without parents. That ends up on the street, waking up and having nothing. Only then the socialist will be happy with your struggle against society, because everyone's better than you. And that's the struggle. Oh, how oppressed you are. You didn't give handouts.
All right.
You didn't get handouts.
Let's keep going.
Jun grew up orphaned by his crackpot father and with a mother who hated him, on top of his demonized sexuality which he could never express. Both of the Persona 3
When was it demonized? What are you talking about?
It's Japan. I think they're kind of loose about that too.
Yeah, they don't... Like, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I played the first game, but I don't remember anyone being victimized for being of a certain sexual orientation. I don't remember that at all.
Maybe he's stupid and think that they're in America.
Everything needs to be California, and what that looks like we see in Los Angeles right now.
I think the best form of that would be in Persona 2 with Ulala, where she's a boxer and she's like a goth chick, and she gets bullies problems, and like that's pretty classic. You have bullies, and you know what you do. How do you deal with that? But nothing. I don't recall anything regarding sexuality in Persona.
Chat says he's making stuff up.
Yeah, I know. I really don't remember. Anyway.
protagonist's parents died in a car crash when he was a child. In the original Shin Megami Tensei, the protagonist's mother is eaten alive in front of him in the first hour of the game. So when Persona 5 tries to tell me that it's about the underclass, then outright mocks members of a real underclass, I can't see that as anything but the truth
And the
slipping out.
underclass.
Wait a
Did
second.
the game tell?
But
Did
that's-
the game tell? Did the game tell at any point that it's about the underclass? Or did he make that up?
I don't know what he means by underclass, but everyone's the underdog. You are a guy who's accused.
What he means by the underclass is not straight white male.
Oh.
Well, they're not white. They're Japanese. They're Asians.
That's the same thing to these retards.
No, that's
Yeah.
worse because the Japanese outperform everyone. They get even on the Asians get even harder SAT penalties than the white people.
Well, you get all the characters in Persona 4 are not immigrants, but they're coming to a town outside of the two girls, I believe. Rise comes into the town. Ryosuke or Ryuji, I can't remember his name. His dad owns a store or something, so they move into the town. You move into the town, of course. Naoto his grandfather lives in the town, I think, so she goes there to train.
Oh, you said something. Maybe he is conflating underdog with underclass.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone's sort of like uncomfortable where they are outside of like in Persona 4 because you get along so well after the first, I don't know, season. You become really, really good friends, but you're always within your group. You're not like, I'm friends with everyone. So.
Yeah, but don't forget, by his logic, if you're rich, you are not suffering enough from whatever the trouble you have, so you have no justification to be suicidal. What empathy?
Yeah, everyone's in the boonies in 4. Everyone's in a city in 3. They're all pretty much the same. I don't know what he's talking about there. There's no like upper class group of like. There's no upper class rich school that you're attending.
Yeah, which boils down to the socialist ideology, communist ideology, same thing. Only sees economic differences as real problems. If you don't have money, or if you have little or average money, then you're in a bad position and you deserve help, attention, compassion, whatever. And if you have a lot of money, you are basically not human anymore and should die in a fire. I think that's the gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference in schooling systems in Japan. There's public and private, but you're pretty much allowed. Like I can go there if I was young, and have the same opportunity to attend a public school as anyone else in Japan. I don't know about the private schools, but we're not talking about private schools, so.
In Persona 3, weren't most of the kids like well-off families except for Junpei?
Junpei, I don't remember the stories. I do know, Mitsurugu and what's her friend, the boxer dude. I think they were from well-off families. But even then, he hang out with like gang members, and she was like pretty much a hall monitor for the city. She was going around as a vigilante. So, yeah, I mean, if they were, they didn't act like it.
Yeah.
Even Ken was like a kid. He was running around with gangs. It's like, what the hell?
Not all this
Junpei
is
was the
about.
best.
It's also a question of the rights of localizers to intentionally change something in this way. It's not a matter of localizing for the sake of helping a foreign audience understand. It's a matter of the localization team believing something to be wrong, or at least unmarketable, and changing it. So where do I stand on that? Well, I don't believe in censorship, and I don't believe in pretending that something isn't censorship just because it's minor. I won't get up in arms that some costumes were changed in the localization of Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but I won't pretend it isn't censorship either. So no, I don't want the scene changed. But the big reason I don't want the scene changed is because I don't want Atlus to be able to hide this. I don't want the localization team to just slip this one under the rug and pretend like Atlus of Japan doesn't need to take a look at themselves. If this were any other...
yourself.
What a dumb...
Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
How about you look at the actual gay scene and not community?
Okay.
Because the good gays also hate these kind of obnoxious, atrocious, and predatory people.
Okay, so Persona 5 came out in 2015 or 16, so it's been 6-7 years for them to do an international release on PC. They've already done Royal, which is extra. It's like basically a DLC build of the game. So there's more stuff. For them to say, "Well, I don't want you to change it. I want you to learn from it." They don't care. They've been making the other Persona game since they finished the last one. They don't have things to do. They don't listen to random shit.
Is this guy offended on behalf of imaginary people, like most of the left, or
No.
is he himself a predatory gay who doesn't want to be called out? Like maybe not acting predatory, but having the thoughts and wishes of acting predatory. Because that would make sense in why he would want the depiction of predatory gays to be eradicated from any media.
Well, it's kind of stupid because you could take any media like a book and say, well, you know, Stephen King wrote a bunch of child sex scenes. We should keep it in when he translates it to Japanese so he knows that a book he wrote 50 years ago will mean something.
That Stephen King is a pedophile?
I don't know. Like, what the hell? Like, what's that going to do? What does that mean?
Well, it's something for the writer of not Inuyasha.
Like half the books, or authors rather. We also had one book on the German curriculum in my school that was just a pedophile story. It's like, and it's always written by leftists. They're pedophiles. Sorry, I'm gonna say it. Leftists are pedophiles. They're protecting pedophiles all the fucking time. On the right wing, you find them in the church. Oh God, wow, yeah, great. The left is openly advocating for them and for legalizing them.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a difference than the church being embarrassed and trying to hide them away. And trying to not getting it public. The left is openly advocating for normalizing it and that you should hand over your kids to them.
Then there's a little 1,000 to 1 difference when it comes to the church and public schools, which is dominated by the left.
Mm-hmm. Who are predatory towards the children, as we've seen enough on TikTok now. Where they all complain about that they can't groom the kids anymore with talking to 6-year-olds about their sexual escapades on the weekend with their gay husbands or lesbian wives or whatever they were doing. And
I did not know any of my teachers' first names. Like, I didn't know any of my teachers' first names when I was in school.
Yeah. I had a weird thing where most of my teachers all had horn in their name.
It was always Mrs. Did or Mr. That.
Yeah.
All right.
Company, I wouldn't bother getting annoyed about this or making a video about it, because what game developer on this earth has a good track record with LGBT representation? The ones who are actually trying are struggling, and the ones who aren't struggling aren't trying. But this is Atlus, the outsider studio.
Your bullshit leftist creations are all the most insulting of all because they don't have anything to do with reality. They're all just fetishistic work. This is funny.
Who is trying?
Funny is good.
He just said, "Who's trying isn't struggling." Like, who's trying to do that? Like, what game has?
The only ones trying to do that are weird SJW video games that nobody plays.
No one knows about. Yeah. So, but are they struggling? I think they are struggling if no one knows about them. So what the hell is this guy on about? He's not talking about like the black JPEGs on BLM year from all those random Twitter accounts from game companies, which was just like, we believe in blah, blah, blah. Here's a black JPEG of us saying so. The end. Buy FIFA. You're like, what? Here's Command and Conquer. Here's Call of Duty. You're like, what? No. What do you have?
Here is Life is Strange with gay teenagers that all look like they're 8 years old.
That's a French company just making shit up.
Whoa, Wisp, hold on. Max Caulfield looks like she's 6.
Yeah, look at that bloody game made by leftists with all this leftist bullshit in it. And the alleged teenagers They look like children.
It's
and
made
they're
by
making out with each other.
it's made
I'm
by the
telling
French
you, the left is fucking pedos.
trying to emulate what they think is California.
Yeah, okay, California is full of pedophiles. I believe
Hold
that,
on.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
Oregon.
accurate.
It's Oregon. We can't let the Oregonians get away with it and blame the Californians for everything now.
The
Okay,
speech is
Oregon
the
is also full of
California.
pedophiles.
The personalities and the lingo and all how they talk is very hip Californian, I guess, for girls.
It took place in Oregon.
Atrocious. It's
Okay.
unbearable. I do not understand how anyone can unironically play that and enjoy that.
Well, Whisp, were you
It
there
is-
for when
it
I
is-
tried to play the free one, the free gay one with the tranny in it?
I think I repressed that memory.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's because you've been watching
I
Bad
might
5.
have been ranting for an hour into a delirium or something.
Yeah, you watch good media. It erases all the bad, and you're like, "What was that horrible experience I had a year?" I don't care. I'm watching J. Michael Straczynski right now. Life is good.
I'll just replay Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and grind for everything again,
Okay. All right.
rather than deal with one more minute of
We
those
are
ass games.
we are almost 2 minutes. We're in the last 2-minute mark, so let's keep going.
The people who made games for weirdos and losers and people who never fit in anywhere else.
What?
They
Who?
had this down.
Who?
Maybe not perfectly, but name me 3 studios who have made a gay
Aliens.
character half as nuanced as Jun Kurosu, especially in the 90s. Name me 3 studios who have said, you know what, the protagonist of our last game was female, and you can deal with it.
Every Metroid game.
Yeah.
like literally at all the Tomb Raider games, Bayonetta,
Miss Pac-Man. Technically.
Pokemon after Gen 2.
Pokemon.
Mortal Kombat.
There you go.
Well, I mean,
Well-
Sonya Blade was okay up until they started having Ronda Rousey voice her.
It took a
one
long
game.
time until Mortal Kombat went.
Well, yeah,
woke.
but everyone brings up
Yeah.
Horizon and Last of Us and what's her name?
Portal?
From Mirror's Edge.
The Japanese chick.
Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, she has the stupid tattoo eyeball thing.
Her name is Mirror's Edge.
Her code name.
I know.
But she's white, right? Because Yahtzee said so.
Oh, yeah, no,
Oh,
no,
fuck
no.
me with that.
no, the.
Oh yeah, this chick with like a slightly tawny skin tone and black hair cut into a bob and slanted eyes. That's definitely a white person characteristic, right?
Fuck Yahtzee for saying that.
The fucking retard.
She had a white father, so she's white, no matter how overly slanted her eyes are.
Still racist.
Okay, they're
I-
called Happas. Okay, that's what half Asians are called.
I was about to say Resident Evil because there is a bunch of female leads, but there's so many other characters that I guess
Rebecca, Claire.
Jill.
Oh, you mean Jill Sandwich?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the wrong line, but sure.
yeah.
No, her name's Jill Sandwich.
Jill Cannoli.
We just talked about this on the Resident Evil 4
Yeah, I know. That's why I remember Jill. I was like, oh yeah, there was female leads in that game. So,
What, Jill in the Jungle?
What the fuck is that?
That was a fun platform. I played that as a kid.
I never heard of it.
You turn into various enemies during the game. Like it's basically Yoshi's Story, but old.
That reminds me of that. Well, that's also literally cameo elements of power. That's a female lead too.
Ah.
yeah, but Lara Croft is probably the biggest one. Anyway,
Yeah.
This
but-
is
but-
not a-
Oh
The
no,
biggest-
but
the
you know,
biggest-
she's
the biggest in
problematic
more ways than
because
one.
she has larger than A cups.
we're
That's what I was going to say.
Well,
The biggest in more ways than
I
one.
when we're talking about
Listen,
the 90s.
I love me some problematic women, all right?
Yeah, we're talking about PSX. Dino Crisis, I think, was one female lead.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark, I think. Like there's a bunch. There's a whole.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about Perfect Dark. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Mass Effect, technically.
I remember
Uh,
Mass Effect.
basically,
That's all- that
every
only counts
game
as
where you
half.
can create your own character.
yeah, but
Yeah,
Who
from
plays
that.
as Femshep though?
yeah, I know.
fuck?
But we're talking about female leads in this time where this guy's referring to Persona 1, which is when the PlayStation just came out. So
Have
So
I mentioned Neptunia?
Metroid.
no, he did not mention Neptunia.
It all goes back to Metroid, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's not making much of a point.
And I mean,
Well, maybe we
Catherine
should.
had a fairly well done transgender character all the way back in 2011.
That was an alien frickin'
Yeah.
What was she again? An alien guy creature? I don't know.
I could have sworn. No, Catherine, the original Catherine was a succubus.
Yes, but we mean the remake with the third Catherine, or sorry, the third female-ish character.
I don't need to understand this several Catherines.
No. He's talking about the waitress that was
the
one of
pianist
their
waitress, right?
Yeah.
Remind me
one of the MC's buddies.
So I have to feel represented by aliens with weird biology.
I guess. I
find that insulting. So not the character. I find the notion insulting that I have to feel represented by that. And
the whole storyline is pretty much the main character's still a dick. Like he's just a horrible person, and he's hooking up with this other girl who's not a girl, and you're like, okay. I mean, if you want to go that way, fine. It just seems silly because he has these other issues to deal with, and now he just decides to have a third wheel, and you're like, oh my god.
Ego Dreamer, you're more or less correct. It's as much hijacked as it is manufactured because the actual patients of that thing do not have the strength or need to have a movement. Let's go on.
Let's go.
Atlus was special, but now it seems like they're too busy chasing mainstream money to care about the little people who help them build what they have.
What are you talking
Atlus
about?
have always
Where
called their
did-
fans
where
the
did
Atlus
that come
faithful
from?
because they were a company that you really could put your faith in. But it
What?
doesn't seem like that's the
Why
case
are you
anymore.
putting your faith in
I
a
started this
company,
video
you
with a
fucking
quote
idiot?
from a member of the Atlus Old
Capitalism.
Guard, Kazuma Kaneko, and I want to end it on a reading of that exact same quote.
Okay.
Another thing that bothered me was the trend of the main character always being portrayed
It's the
as
same
someone
thing.
special. A legendary warrior, for example. It was the equivalent of saying you can't succeed unless you're from a wealthy family, and I just couldn't stand that. I wasn't born with special genes, and I'm sure most other players weren't either. No matter who you are, if you're given a chance and have the guts to try your best, you can become a hero. That became the concept of Megami Tensei.
This is something your communist ideology stands against, by the way, because you do not want people to put in effort. We have seen that every time leftists take control of the education sector, and then they destroy every incentive for applying yourself.
I mean,
You
I
lower
just
standards,
got around to
you
starting.
simplify the curriculum to the point of handout titles, and then for some reason, the kids, when they get to university, completely fail.
Well, this is the same company who made Catherine, Dragon's Crown. What's that really cool one? Aegis Rim, which has a whole bunch of characters and high school kids. Dancing in Starlight or Dancing in Moonlight. All the crazy dancing games where they sexualize prepubescent or actual teenagers. So they are making games for people who want to play their games. There's no like
teenagers.
Yeah, there's no like, oh yeah, we gotta turn it down. No, they crank it up wherever they want, especially Dragon's Crown, where they have lots of fun. And I'm glad, like Odin Sphere, if you guys remember those games from what the hell's that company, that developer that made them?
I know. Wait, let me look at the box.
It's like Vanilla something. I can't remember the name.
Vanilla Sky.
But maybe I can't recall. But they don't care. They do beautiful artwork. It looks amazing. They don't care about body proportions or whether it's physically capable or this or that. It's fun gameplay with amazing artwork, with great music, with dramatic scenarios, especially if you're talking about... I like 13 Sentinels. That was the Aegis Rim game. No one played. So
I can't find it on the box.
Yeah, but they like, who was expecting Tokyo or Persona 5 Strikers? Like, I was not. For them to turn that style of game from a turn-based Persona game. It doesn't make any sense, but they did it anyway. It's fun. It's cool. Awesome for them. Good for them.
Okami has a female lead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That bitch.
Amaterasu.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Really?
Wolf. And Phantom Breaker's Battleground. Oboro Muramasa has a female lead. Or co-lead.
You know what? I'm just gonna go out there and say it. Amaterasu's a real bitch.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Oh, yeah.
All right. One super chat, and then we'll continue on with the video. Legacy, thanks for the $2. Don't make fun of my jeans, you commie. Oh, Mr. Levi's, huh? Okay, fair enough.
I don't think Levi was a commie. He was pretty good at making money.
It's the
I think the company went woke though.
Levi Strauss was a peddler who sold his special trousers to, I think, mainly mining workers.
Trousers.
Yeah, trousers, pants.
well.
Yeah, not just farmhands, but also mining workers, and they were really good for that.
Yeah,
And that's how how his company ran so well.
They're overpriced. Like they're like basically the McDonald's of pants, right? Everyone knows them.
Pants Donalds.
And nowadays, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're worker pants.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, 1 minute left of this guy reading this quote, I guess. Who knows? Nope. That's it.
Ladies and
Hey guys,
no.
thanks for watching my video. In case you hadn't noticed by now, I have some new channel art going.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
Ladies and gentlemen, a centrist.
Yeah,
So-
right.
So who wants to queue up another video that completely disproves this asshole's argument?
Not tonight. I think we're good.
It's late. It's already
You
late.
left-wing leaning parasite.
And isn't that thing just the same stuff that we have already
It's true,
said
sir.
on streams?
This man has no dick.
No.
Yes.
What?
All right, here's a great example. I don't know what happened to the bottom image, but of the character who's so spoiled and upper class in his proverbial mental jail. And we have one of the characters who is her jailer or their jailer saying, "How can we help you, King Day Day?"
I need a persona to clobber that there Kirby.
Yeah,
Oh no.
Oh
fantastic.
no! And
Love
he
it.
got it.
Good stuff.
And he actually got it in the next one.
There he is, Persona, and he's summoning a freaking penguin.
The penguin.
Yeah.
Kowalski analysis.
Sire, there's someone at the door. Well, who is it? It's Skirgoon. Greetings, great King Day Day Day.
Oh no!
That's great. I love it.
Is DDD in the Persona games as a cameo?
He's the villain, and everyone's gonna steal his heart to change him into a good guy.
What?
That's what the
I think the mask is from, what was it, Star Allies? I think.
Okay. I don't remember.
show me your true form when he pulls off the mask. And
Jojo.
It's a JoJo reference.
I'm Führer!
There he is. There's the Führer, as they translate it instead of Hitler. It's the Führer. They just gave him sunglasses. Pretty much.
I'm Führer!
It's great. Love it. Joker or Pikachu? King Dedede. Oh.
That's not real.
How many
That can't be real.
King Dedede jokes we got going here?
I think this is the last one.
Holy hell. Yeah.
Everyone,
Dude, but
extinct
that's like it's the proper answer. Like,
That is
Pikachu is everybody can play Pikachu.
Pikachu
DDD is
sucks.
just fun.
and then everyone exchanging masks.
Amy Schumer's entire comedic career versus two muffins are sitting in an oven. One says, "Wow, it's hot in here," and the other says, "Whoa,
What?
talking muffin."
What the fuck? We went from King DDD to Amy Schumer. Okay.
I don't know.
We trans.
King
think
DDD
we-
eats more yet weighs less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Being pursued by a salad? What? Oh, did you know that the Muppets was so popular that they decided to make Miss Piggy into a real thing? Oh.
Oh. Don't insult Miss Piggy.
Breaking. Comedian Amy Schumer has been stabbed by a disgruntled fan and is being rushed to the emergency room for treatment, and then you have a picture.
Oh, I did the same thing with Movie Bob.
Oh.
Is that a Japanese whaling?
I
It looks like.
don't know.
That's- Probably. Damn,
What
look
a
at
waste
all.
of
Damn,
blood.
look at all that blood.
What makes a man turn neutral? Lust for power. Sorry, lust for gold, power, or were you just born with a heart full of neutrality?
Yes.
Dr. Chrisman got it. He got my reference.
All right. Had to do it. Oh, this is your. Do you guys ever think about what it would be like to F this thing? Okay.
I have
Let's
like
think about it. Oh,
every time I'm on a stream and there's like just gay shit, I just put one of these. There's like a bunch of. I have a bunch of these.
I recognize that. I forgot where it's from. What the name was.
It's Angel Dust from Hasbin Hotel.
Hasbin Hotel, yeah.
it's Angel Dust from 103rd Street at 12th Avenue, behind the alley.
Prepare to continue the epic struggle between good and neutral. I don't know if that's a thing in D&D, but
Well, I mean, depending on who's playing the good and who's playing the neutral, there could be a struggle.
oh, the deception, the betrayal. You deceived me.
Oh, damn it.
Gingerman isn't white.
Screw you.
Okay, so Ginga, what flavor of brown are you?
No.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate 2018. And,
I'm a nice like coconut.
Okay, so you're a Mexican. You're a Mexican who's white on the inside, then.
Puerto Rican.
Absolutely.
Sometimes have to say it.
Okay.
Look. Oh,
What the hell is this? Is this Smash Bros? What is that?
it's a Photoshop, but that's pretty much Smash. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's how much of a juxtaposition it is.
Arsene. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. What?
He can't do it.
No.
She's too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know common balancing issues in Smash. I can tell you.
I'm just waiting for Doom Guy in Smash.
Oh, come on. Stop with the joking around. It's so scary. That's Corn Woman to you, Joker. I am the Dark Meta Knight.
Nice Batman cosplay Meta Knight. Moving on.
Corn Woman?
Yeah, Corin, because it's Corin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin speaks for herself.
I can't see that.
Don't.
Oh, he's summoning the frick. That's great.
Oh, no.
Dick Plant.
What's the name of that monster? I can't remember.
So it's the characters from Persona 4 playing Smash and the guy playing it, Joker. Okay, meta.
It's Mara. That's the name. Mara.
Laura. Okay. That's the next one.
And everyone's.
You
Oh,
don't see it?
I see.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Look, I've been around the world. Okay, whatever it is, I'll understand. There's nothing about this I understand.
You're right. He doesn't understand, nor do we.
Yeah. Fangirls. Ryuji and Mishima fled to the balcony. Hold on, this whole operation was your idea.
Yeah.
That's good. That's almost exactly the same frame as the show. If you look at the animation.
The next one, read it and hit play. It's short.
Okay. Is this man a communist?
Yes.
Okay.
Simplicity.
That didn't take too long. Nighty night, my sweet little phantom thief. Okay. But it's only 7 o'clock. Yeah, the sun is still out. And then Mona's like, nope.
It's work.
Time to go to sleep, isn't it? Isn't it?
And then it turns out to be 7 in the morning.
JT, the Boondocks. Oh, I'm not going to watch that.
Moving on.
Wow, 0 dislikes. This guy must have made some great points that the Persona fandom agrees with.
Nope.
Oh.
I was with you until you got into the part where you dismissed things such as Haru's forced marriage as not mattering as much because of her societal position. That is such a harmful and frankly privileged way of looking at the world. Yes, there are worse things happening to less privileged people in the world, but it doesn't make her or any other situation any better.
Mm-hmm.
Beast!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when's my Whopper gonna be ready? Get back online, dude. I'm still waiting for my fries.
Wendy's.
That makes me kind of want Wendy's now.
I ate Wendy's before and I got home.
Whoppers have that
I had it a few days
tomatoey.
ago.
Well, everyone has their own preference to fast food, right? But Whopper has that nice, fresh, tomatoey, mayonnaise sort of juiciness about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that
Also-
amalgamation, but
Oh, this is amazing.
They have the bourbon burger.
I heard about that. Yeah, I didn't know what it's like though. No bourbon in it though.
It's like it's just like some bourbon barbecue sauce, but with onion rings on it.
Yeah,
Or like,
The comic
it's
strip
fine.
this little comic here is amazing.
So here we have Kirby, and he is just what is he doing? on his phone?
Joker's talking to one girl, texting the other, and then he's like, "Oh shit, wait a minute." Then looks at Kirby. Copy ability.
Ah,
Because he made a date with both.
that's awesome.
Technically, yeah.
On is just holding that's this giant
Just
ball.
holding Joker Kirby, yes.
Is she like, what the hell am I doing? Or yeah, I can't tell. Oh boy, oh boy.
However, that
Oh.
works.
Oh no.
What is he holding Kirby? Or is he holding just a ball?
He's holding Kirby.
So Kirby
Oh,
was
no.
on the date. You got I can't read that. That's too small.
I'll get it. Reese, put down the weapon. Sometime later.
What is he eating? Fudge? What is that?
Cookies.
Oh, it's cookies. Sorry. Kirby,
It looks-
pink.
it looks
Haru,
weird, it
pink.
just-
Friendly and cute. Friendly and cute. Actually, incredibly dangerous and is fully capable of killing you. Well, the joke is that Haru, her melee weapon is an axe, and I think her gun is like a missile launcher or a grenade launcher. I can't remember what it was. Gets
It's
a
a fancy
fancy
hat
hat when they transfer. It's true.
And oh, the fuck is the last one?
You can call Kirby he. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
I think the girl is a girl.
Kirby-
Mom, can
Kirby
we
is a
stop
boy,
by
deal.
McDonald's?
Don't fall for this day bullshit.
Darling, we have dinner at home. Oh, I hate this family. He takes off his mask.
Oh, that looks weird.
Oh,
Let's see. Oh, I'm the best mascot. No, I'm the best mascot. Amateurs. What was that, punk? Amateurs.
Yeah.
Jack Frost.
wasn't the dog a mascot?
Dog.
They had in
Three?
Persona 3.
It Akono Hamaru, I think. What the hell is his name?
Yeah.
Can't remember. He had wings. It was a cute dog. Yeah. Everywhere is America.
Yeah, but we need to. Oh, somebody did that.
We have renamed planet Earth to Planet America.
Now
We
I'm
just
super
need to sink California into the ocean.
Come on.
Oh,
You
so
win.
here is a thread that the YouTuber made, I guess, on, I guess this is Twitter. I'm going to... sorry. Who is this? I'm going to translate this tweet for the people who somehow cannot comprehend it. The problem with Persona 4 is not that Kanji isn't gay. The problem is that every character arc is, I think I might not be what society wants of me, and the resolution is, wait, yes, I am.
No, that's not. No,
That's not even close.
that's not
to-
what's happening.
That doesn't even make sense with some of the characters. The problem with Rise is she's trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life because she's no longer wants to be a model, or she's taking a break and trying to figure that out. Nothing to do with society. Marie is literally a magical goddess who controls the weather, and she doesn't want to be evil anymore. Kanji is throwing away his crazy persona of being what is he? He's seen as a rebellious type, but he just wants to fit. So he actually wants to fit in. Yeah, this has nothing to do with anything. Maybe Naoto, in a sense, with the police force, but that's about it. And what's his name? Magical Bear Boy. It's just a magical bear creature from the TV land. So He has no internal organs. He's just this big external body. No, I'm not gonna read that. Nothing about Naruto. Don't ruin Naruto. Same thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna read that. He's just making shit up now. If you think this guy's a centrist, he just disproves everything. So
He's doing that.
He's in the center of the upper right of the political.
Oh God, this
He called
this
himself.
guy. This guy thinks this is what pisses me off. That people like this think they speak for trans issues when he has absolutely no clue what that is. Naruto does not have a trans issue.
yeah. So if you guys really like his video, upvote it. If you really like it or dislike it, downvote it, because this is one of those videos where it's like, yeah, you can't be in the middle. This is so dumb.
There's no middle here.
Yeah.
This guy's just a liar. He said he's a centrist, and all he says is communist propaganda bullshit.
It's one thing to like Atlus's games. It's another thing to misinterpret them into this political mumbo jumbo. And guys, these games are big. There's so much stuff going on. There's so many look at. I don't know if you guys remember the first game at all, but there's like you can flirt, I think, with enemies. You can charm them. You could give them money. You could bribe them. You could stare at them. You could do all these stupid things that you had no idea if it was going to work or whatever, all to get their cards so you could make them in your own persona world, infuse them, and make new persona. Like, it's all about gameplay. And they just threw on this massive calendar, high school, social link system, and day-to-day, and you have to work, you have to build up your muscle, you got to get good at grades, and it's so much stuff going on. And you got to make it entertaining. You have to throw in jokes. You have to throw in drama. There's a lot going on. So to censor or remove one little part here and there is not going to change a thing. You're not going to change people's minds. These people, if they focus on the two gays from Persona 5, that is like 0.0 something % of the experience that is Persona 5. And it's really sad that to bring that up at all. So, and this guy, I don't know what he's getting. Oh, Persona used to be, or Atlus used to be good back in the day. It's like, nope. Same company.
It's still good.
Still good, exactly. And I'm glad. I'm glad they made a popular game that everyone can now appreciate their games, because 5 really brought them on the map. So, if you haven't played 5, you might like it. I'm not saying you will.
Can I get it on the Switch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I might go buy it.
I'm quite sure it came out on the Switch, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All I have is a Switch.
Yeah, it's the Royale came out in... Oh, I'm sorry. It's coming out in 2 days for the Switch. So,
okay.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I think they did. Maybe not Royal, though. Yeah.
Although the new Pokemon game is coming out soon, so...
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
Well, you can always wait for a year to go down in price. So
yeah.
Anyway,
Pokemon
that was a really sad video, because I like Atlus, I like the Persona series, and this was a bad interpretation, and he lied to us. I don't like coming out, I am politically X, but I'm really the exact opposite. It's like, oh, good Lord.
We'd be less harsh on him if he didn't lie, if he just called himself a full-blown commie.
If he
I wouldn't.
just gave his opinion, we'd be fine. Be like, yeah, we disagree with you. That's fine. But now he lied to us, so it's kind of like, ugh.
He also called himself a Chad for being a centrist.
Really?
No.
No.
He sounds like his balls have never fallen off.
Isn't that just because
No,
due to the
what? Hold on. No, time out.
the
His balls have never fallen off. What the fuck?
I was making fun of his voice.
The phrase is dropped.
There we go.
Your testicles don't just dislodge themselves from your body when you hit puberty.
That would be very painful.
Unless you have some very terrible accident that I don't know about.
Did the guy sound like he deserved them anyway? No.
I just, someone was asking about his Twitter. I was looking at Atlus's Twitter, and they said, look at the new song that just came out from Carly Rae Jepsen called The Loneliest Time, and mix it with the Get Up, Get Up, Get Out There song from Persona 5. And someone actually did that, and it sounds pretty good. Like, this is the kind of Twitter account that Atlus has. They're just having fun making games.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And and it's successful. What a great company. They're just having a good time. So bravo, Atlus. Don't listen to this guy. And you guys, well, make up your own mind, of course, about this guy yourselves.
I think he needs to. I think he needs to take a long walk over a short chair.
Okay. Here's GAW004. Thank you, sir.
He should hang himself, is what I'm saying.
Recommend the game Cultic. Just beat it. Okay, what is Cultic? Does anyone know?
It's not that game where you go down a pit and it's work your way out of it or something?
Or is
that Gothic?
Death is the only beginning. Crawl from your grave and gear up to fight your way through the ranks of a mysterious and twisted cult. You, your guns, and your dynamite will have to shoot, slide, blast, duck, dodge, and maybe throw a gib or two to survive in this old school inspired shooter. Very cool.
Rise from your grave.
Sounds like a Doom clone. Good stuff. Overwhelmingly positive, over 1,000 reviews. That's awesome. Came out just last week.
Cool.
For $11.49.
But it's on computer.
And it has DLC.
Oh, cool.
Very cool. Yeah,
Alrighty.
I like those indie games that are just awesome. Fun to play. Which reminds me of going back to playing New Vegas, because that's what I've been doing all week. So I'm gonna go take a break. Guys, that was fun. I enjoyed the video because I know the topic, and it's always nice to dunk on a guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. So thank you so much, guys. Do you want to do again tomorrow something? I don't know if you are busy. Are we taking our break? Because I know we changed things up because of my schedule and everyone's different now. But if we have time, if you want, we can do it tomorrow. I can keep going. Whatever you guys feel like. You give us the suggestions, we'll take them and go. So as always, thanks for listening. We'll have yourself a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.